if you're in your 30s, your 40s, or your 50s, you may look back on a time when you caught more fish, caught bigger fish, had more top 10s. I know I'm looking back to 2017, 2018. I know that wasn't a real long time ago, but 5 years ago, it seemed like I caught more big fish. I did better in tournaments, and I was just a better fisherman, which is weird because I know more now. I probably have better skills. I feel like I can do more things. My abilities are much more further along than they were 5 years ago. But I'm starting to realize that I'm not as creative. I don't have that ingenuity. And I've heard Randy Blockett talk about this on the Bilge podcast the other day about you hit a certain age where you become stuck in your ways and you're just not as creative. You lose that ingenuity. And that is bigger and better than knowledge, skills, or abilities. So I'm trying to look back on those days where I thought I was a better fisherman when I knew less. But I think what I'm missing now that I had 5 years ago was I was always trying to learn something new. I felt like I had some strong suits in my game, but I was always trying to add another one. Each year, if it was top water one year, then I wanted to become a better cranker the next year. Then I wanted to come back and be a better, buzzbait fisherman one year. Always mixing something new into my game. So I think that is very important, that you cannot lose that. You may learn everything, but you're not going to be great at everything. That's the cool thing about fishing, is that there's always something new to learn, and if you look at it nowadays, it's technology and this and that, but it's not just technology. There's new baits that are always coming out. There's old baits that are funky and weird that you thought you would never ever try. You got to keep using those baits. So this bait like this crazy worm, I don't know if you've ever thrown this. It's a methylate, soft plastic, finesse worm. They call it a floating worm. You just throw it on a hook and you fish it almost like a jerk bait. It's a great pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn bait. This is one of those techniques for me where I've seen guys win big tournaments on it. I've heard about this from the beginning of fishing, and I never throw it. So this year, 2024, I'm going to break this thing out and throw it. Now, if I ever catch a fish on in a tournament, or I ever even, throw it during a tournament, I'm going to practice with it. And what I think happens when you get so stuck in your ways, you're going to go and do what you always do. You're going to go fish that point with a chatterbait, then you're going to go back into the pocket and you're going to fish the drain, and then you're going to come out and fish a couple docks, and then you're going to roll out of there. And you're doing the same exact thing that everyone else is doing. Everyone goes to that point and throws a chatterbait. Everyone goes back into the pocket and fishes the drain, and then goes out and fishes a couple docks. And we're all probably throwing a chatterbait. Nothing is different. We're all fish so similar because there's so much info out there. You've got to keep trying to learn new stuff. And what will happen to you, because I've seen this with other baits when I was learning new techniques, is that you're going to give those fish a different look. You're going to give them a bait that is going to expose more fish to you that naturally wouldn't. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're fishing an area with a chatterbait and you've been catching them there on a chatterbait. Well, you come back during the tournament, you have a co-angler with you, and he starts smoking them on a crankbait. Well, the fish probably thought the chatterbait was a bluegill, and there was probably bluegill up there that the fish were feeding on, and maybe those bluegill just pushed off the spot and shad moved up on it. And those fish really started keying in on the shad, and they knew the bluegill thing wasn't really the deal anymore, and they started keying in on your co-angler's crankbait because he was imitating shad. That type of thing happens all the time. The fish change off a certain bait fish, and you may think they're gone because they're not eating the chatterbait. That's the importance of throwing something that you're not real comfortable with, you're not real confident in, but you got to just try something different every once in a while. And that will teach you stuff about the fish. You don't have to necessarily even learn a whole lot about that bait. You just need to learn about the spots that you're fishing. So let fishing lures be a tool, and you don't have to be great with every single tool all the time to be a great fisherman. Sometimes it's just letting yourself know that there's fish around and then go back and catch them with your confidence bait. So keep an open mind and always try new lures. That is so important. That's something that I look back on when I was in my prime of my fishing career. I was always learning something new. And then I think, well, I've learned everything. There's always something to learn now. So this is it for me in 2024. I've always thought this was the funniest thing, but it is a killer pre-spawn bait, a tournament-winning pre-spawn bait, and something I'm going to throw a lot and just try to learn something new and let the fish tell me something new, or let the fish tell me that they're there when I can't catch them on all my confidence baits. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the water.